for Taiwan to be a participant in the specialized agencies and mechanism of the UN system.
In a pleasant air of celebration, local dignitaries and scores of senior government officials celebrated China's centennial in a night characterized by melodious Gambian and Taiwanese tunes. 100 years of nationhood for the world's 23rd largest economy was a momentous event reflecting on developments which continue to mesmerize even the developed world. For GRTS News, I am Ajami Sise.
You can also follow that story on other GRTS programs live on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio Live. We'll go for a short break. The news continues momentarily. Welcome back. There's much anticipation ahead of an announced prisoner swap between Israel and Hamas. Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit is being traded for more than 1,000 Palestinian detainees. It is the day that one Palestinian family has been waiting for more than 30 years.
Every fall, Hanan Barghouti spends her days harvesting olives in the West Bank. But this year is different, as Hanan hopes her brother will be released from an Israeli jail soon. Nael Barghouti has been in custody for the past 34 years, the longest-serving Palestinian prisoner. We need to thank Hamas, she says as she sobs. 1,000 thanks to Hamas. We must kiss their heads. Nael Barghouti is serving a life sentence for his alleged involvement in a commando operation that killed an Israeli in 1978. Part of the prisoner exchange to free Gilad Shalit, the Israeli soldier kidnapped by Hamas more than 5 years ago. In total, more than 1,000 Palestinians are due to be released, almost 300 serving life sentences. A difficult step for the Israelis. Many of the Palestinians in Israeli jails were sentenced for killing Israelis, and Israel still sees many of them as a threat to its security. Aside from settlement building, the issue of Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails remains one of the main obstacles dividing the two sides. And that issue will not go away with the Gilad Shalit deal. Israel currently holds more than 5,000 Palestinians in detention centers, and some have gone on hunger strike to protest what they say are deteriorating conditions in the prisons. Though the Israeli Prison Authority says the detention conditions are in line with Israeli court orders.
The deterioration in the issue of the isolation and the solitary confinement policy that the prison authority is using against political figures and leaders in the prison authority.
One of the most prominent Palestinian political figures who will not be released as part of the exchange is Marwan Barghouti, a Fatah leader who is admired by many Palestinians, currently serving 5 life sentences for his alleged role in terror attacks against Israeli civilians. As a Palestinian, I am happy with this deal, Marwan Barghouti's wife says, but on a personal level, I was surprised that Marwan Barghouti was not part of this deal. At the end of the day, I am a mother with 4 children who are awaiting the return of their father. Hanan Barghouti, a distant relative of Marwan Barghouti, has been waiting for decades to see her brother Nael again. This year, she hopes he can help her finish harvesting the olive trees. Fred Pleitgen, CNN, Ramallah.
Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi is facing a crucial vote of confidence in Parliament today. The Premier is one of catastrophic crisis and early elections if he loses the vote. Berlusconi called the vote of confidence after his government lost a routine legislative vote, questioning his ability to govern. Some newly revealed wiretapped conversations are adding to his trouble, and as we hear in this report, even Italians are losing patience with the man and his lifestyle.
In the sun-baked Umbrian town of Colipino, they admit they have rarely asked themselves for whom the bell tolls. In fact, the bells at San Silvestro Church, wedged as it is in the thick of this scenic town, rarely ring at all. They mirror the moral ambivalence here, the shrug of the shoulders, to the lewd exploits of their infamous leader. That is, until now.
He should be serious. Instead, he goes around the world like a magnate for money and escorts.
Opinions have changed here, says this tavern owner, because business has changed. The crisis is biting. And Berlusconi does bear some responsibility, he says, because he spent too much time chasing skirts instead of safeguarding the interests of the country. With his approval rating now at less than 25%, Silvio Berlusconi's alleged sex scandals and trials are reaching new depths, with some Italian newspapers declaring that evidence now gathered for trial lays bare details of a personal life too vulgar to print. But listen to what made it to press from wiretap conversations between Berlusconi and businessman Gianpaolo Tarantini, now on trial for blackmail. Berlusconi complains of a backache. Tarantini: "I'll send you a little angel to help you get rid of the back pain." In another, Berlusconi boasts, "Last night I had a lineup outside the bedroom door. There were 11 of them. I only did 8 of them because I couldn't do more." In another conversation, Berlusconi complains there were too many women at the party the night before. "At the most, we can have 2 each," he says, and then continues, "Then we can exchange." He then allegedly says something too vulgar to repeat here about circulating women for sex. Even if Italians were willing to forgive all this of their prime minister, there are suggestions now that his private life may not have been so private. Court documents allege that he was using state funds for his parties, including those held here at his official residence in Rome. Berlusconi denies any wrongdoing, repeating, "He loves women, but that's hardly illegal." But for a 75-year-old prime minister of a country in dire financial straits, it's hardly wise either.
Diciamo che è problema suo, ma
Let's say those are his problems, but they reflect on all of us, he says. There is still little moral outrage here about Berlusconi's personal life, just a shrewd calculation that it's now a liability Italy can no longer afford. Paul Newton, CNN, Colepino, Italy.
We'll now take our second break. And before we go, a recap of our headline-making stories. A South African minister on a mission to strengthen Pretoria-Banjul ties today held closed-door talks with Vice President Ajah Dr. Aisatunjai Saidi. Means of fast-tracking the attainment of set targets and goals topped the agenda of a sectoral retreat held by the departments under the Vice Presidency and Women's Affairs Ministry. An air of excitement is brewing in Palestine ahead of an announced prisoner swap between Israel and Hamas. And Italy's billionaire politician and scandal-prone Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi warns of catastrophic crisis should he lose a vote of confidence underway in Italian Parliament. And you are reminded that you can also follow the day's stories on our GRTS programs live on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio Live. That brings us to the end of this news. Thanks for keeping us company and do enjoy the rest of our interesting programs. Thank you.